Cherry Creek Radio has been furnished a fee for the following program.
The following program does not reflect the views and opinions of Cherry Creek Media.
You know I'm a dreamer. My dreams came true. Keller Williams, I owe it all to you. I'm on my way. I bought a home, home sweet home. Just one more night, and I'm coming off this long and winding road. I'm on my way. I have a new home, home sweet home. Thanks, Keller Williams, I love my dream home.
Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, good Saturday morning to you. Thanks for tuning in to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. That's me and friends. The land of COVID. Here we go. Having fun. Enjoying the stability, the tranquility, or not so much. Man, is this thing ever going to end? I'm with one of my good buddies right now. He's one of the original gangsters. He's one unique dude. The man sitting next to me is a good friend of mine. We're at, man, I'll tell you what, we have a lot in common and we have a lot not in common. But that's the beautiful thing about Keller Williams. Seth Stevens, welcome.
Hey, Russ, how's it going?
Good, man. Not only are you an original gangster, you're the youngest guy, I think, I think you're the youngest person in the history of Washington State to get a real estate license.
I'm not quite sure about the youngest, but I do know that I was the first to do it while I was still in high school.
Yeah, you see, if you guys look this up, the Department of Real Estate License has a rule that says you have to have a high school diploma. Well, Seth and I got together, and Seth did a little recon. We got a hold of that old Department of Licensing director, and we said, you know what? Seth's going to graduate with an AAS degree while he gets his diploma. So we petitioned them back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. And they granted you an exemption, and you got your real estate license. Were you 18? Yeah.
Yeah, I was only 18 a few months before.
Just turned 18. So you've been with us since, I think, January of 2018. Mm-hmm. You know what I'd like to do, Seth? You're the owner. You're just an amazing guy. I nicknamed you the Renaissance Man, I think, a couple of years ago. And
it's stuck.
And it's stuck, right? The big R. And what's cool about that is that you kind of exemplify a person that I respect and admire that takes action. You know, and I think in today's world, never so much as today's world, people need to take action because there's a lot of adversity right now. There's a lot of challenges in the nation. There's a lot of everything, and not all of it's good. This virus has really added a lot of stress and anxiety to people, and I thought we could kind of dive in. What are you now, 20?
Yep.
Getting old, man.
I know, right?
Might even be able to drink here pretty soon if you want one.
Give me a few more months.
So I want to tell your story because I think Keller Williams, I may be a little biased, but I think we're the right fit for everybody that wants to take action. And there's an old saying that goals without action are really just dreams. Well, you can sit around and watch Netflix all day long and be upset that you're furloughed or lost your job or lost your business, frankly, because this is going to create casualties. But if you take action like you did, why don't we start by what you did and maybe just kind of where were you 2 years ago and where are you today and what are you doing?
Man, that's a loaded question, Russ.
Keep it PG-13, Seth. I know you are in college, so us old guys, we gotta be careful. I can't handle too much.
Yeah, I'll redact some sensitive information.
Thanks, sir.
But 2.5 years ago, I was getting my real estate license, and I didn't sell a single house for the first 6 months. It was rough, working multiple jobs and being really stressed out, and then eventually things started picking up and sold a few and then went off to college. And right before I went off to college, launched Steven's Home Group, which is a team at Keller Williams. And since then, we've been really busy, and we've grown pretty significantly, I feel like, in terms of our volume at least. And it's been a really, good 2 years and productive, and nothing really, bad in terms of business, which is really cool. But, now I guess it's a little bit different because we're sitting, farther away, and, kind of in a makeshift studio, and we're, making up the radio show in a different world, than what we were 2.5 years ago. And,
right.
Could you imagine what people would say if you 6 months ago, you would have been in this room right now, or having to wear masks when you go to the store, or, anything like that? It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. You said something to me off air that was pretty intriguing to me. You said, people come and go on your team, people come and go in a firm, things change in life. And what I loved about how you embrace anything that's adverse, and you've been through some adversity, my friend. We have that in common. Your mom passed away last summer.
Yeah. Well, last February.
Last February.
Yeah.
My dad passed away into April this year. And, and you had an amazing resilience. In fact, I learned a lot on how you handled yourself because, like you, I was very close to my dad. You were very close to your mom, obviously. And the stoicism that you showed and demonstrated it was amazing. And it was something that helped me. I want to share that with you. It helped me because I remember what you went through. And the things that we go through and the things that I've seen you just in 2 years go through, and how this office and how this culture of Keller Williams bands together really is, it's been exciting to watch because I am a firm believer that we are all bringing something to the table all the time. And watching your growth and the fact that you just took on the team concept, which really is pretty amazing. I mean, it's something very unique at Keller Williams. So the idea that you can build a team powered by or fueled by an organization that's the largest real estate organization on the planet.
It's incredible.
So tell us about like the idea that you could go back to college or stay in college. So you get a license while you're in high school. You graduate high school. You got a couple 2-year degree, AAS degree from Wenatchee Valley, right?
Yep.
The Running Start program, which was amazing. So then you went back to college at Western Washington University, and you get a degree in business administration, right?
We actually switched
switched.
it. I switched it up.
There you go.
We're doing public relations with a minor in political science now.
Perfect. What, are you going to be a governor or something?
Oh, who knows?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
One day. I'll be your campaign. I'll be a campaign sign guy or something.
Works for me.
So it's pretty unique. Maybe you could explain to the people that aren't familiar with what branding yourself did for you.
Yeah, and I guess, just going back, since I've been with Keller Williams, I mean, my life has completely changed over the past 2.5 years. But once Steven's Home Group was launched on my 19th birthday, it provided me the power to I guess I have a brand identity and not have to have all of the same expenses of opening up an office. I know how much that hurts, how pricey that can get.
Capital.
And it's really allowed me to just, I guess, be more of a brand rather than just myself.
Yeah, like you're a business owner.
Exactly, like I'm a business owner.
So let me ask you something. For a lot of people out there working for other franchises in real estate, they're working every day. They're working 10 years, 20 years. I know it sounds like a long time, but it goes by quick, my friend. Can you imagine working for a firm where you were branding them the whole time you worked in your career, and then when you retired, it was over and your cash flow's over?
Absolutely not. I mean, why would I when I could do this? When I can make my own and I can have residual income, and if there's a week where I have to focus on school or something, it's not the end of the world. I have good people around me to be able to help, and it's something that I wouldn't trade for the world, in all honesty.
Yeah, what's funny about that? There's this word called equity. And I think most of us know what equity means. But when you do something, you work hard, you should have something of value that you've earned. And so by branding yourself, and what we use is called assumed names. It's all perfectly legal through the Department of License. You actually spend a couple $100 every 2 years, and then the office owns the name. But we allow you to take it with you if for some reason you got fired up and fired us and went on to open your own, which if you did, I'd high five you and say good luck because I love you. That's one of the abundant mindsets that we have. We don't talk down. We don't discourage people from doing what they want to do. And hopefully, the door is always open when people do leave. And hopefully, fortunately, we have a very high retention rate, and we're recruiting at a very high level. But the idea that you can work somewhere and then go on, if you retire, the money stops. Or if you go on vacation, the money stops. Because if you're not turning and burning transactions, you're not making money in this commission-based land.
Exactly.
But with a team, not that you have to, right? Mm-hmm. Many people, in fact, I think it's like 80% of the real estate brokers at Keller Williams are individual agents. Mm-hmm. But to me, especially if I could go back in time, I got my license also pretty young. I was 19 years old. I did graduate high school, though, so you got me beat there. And I just think about, what if I would have been at Keller Williams for 32 years? What would my profit sharing look like? What would my brand be worth, et cetera? So to me, the fact that I can help share a little bit of that 32-year experience with you, but yet, you know what, man? I'm learning from you all the time. I don't think there's a criteria that one person can learn exclusively from another, and it's only a one-way street. It just doesn't work that way around here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I admire the courage. I admire the fact that you're a clean slate and you're just rumbling forward, getting your college degree, aspirations off the grid. Before we forget, what's the best way if somebody wants to hire the Stevens Home Group and Seth Stevens? How do they get a hold of you?
Best things to do is give me a call. My phone number is 509-421-0555. Really easy to remember. Or you can go on to our website, which is StevensHomeGroupWA.com. And Stevens is spelled with a V, not a PH.
So Stevens?
Yep.
All right. So, we're coming to the end of this first segment. And by the way, like Seth said, this is our first radio produced show in our new office. And when we get back, we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. We're in the same basic location. We just moved over one spot. And here we go, on the edge of launching a new podcast next month.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So thanks for hanging out with us in the land of COVID in studio. We're social distancing on the network, just so you know. Thanks for tuning in on this Saturday in August. Appreciate every single one of our listeners. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Home sweet home. Thanks, Keller Williams. I love my dream home.
Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, thanks for tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning. I wanted to share the fact that we've been in business now about a year and a half. We have over 50 real estate agents, and there's a reason for that. Mainly, it's relationship and culture. Sometimes people definitely look at the money and the commissions and the splits. But at the end of the day, it's about relationships, trust, that familial connection that you have at Keller Williams. That's what we strive to do, and that's how we look at our clients. We now have offices in Brewster, Chelan, and Wenatchee. We have agents in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee and Cashmere and Leavenworth, Chelan, Brewster. Really having a good time. So if you're interested in learning about why is Keller Williams Realty growing as fast as we've grown and have as many agents that are focused on their clients as we do, give us a call at 509-888-0038 or just stop by and see us at 1111 North Mission Street right here in Wenatchee. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner of Keller Williams. I want to thank you for supporting my radio show as we enter our third year of broadcasting. We are going to continue to provide an emphasis this year on real estate education by inviting our affiliate partners to share their knowledge and expertise, as well as discuss current real estate trends and topics with all of us. I'm also excited to introduce our Keller Williams brokers individually so you can get to know them as I do. Sincerely, thank you for supporting Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Call us anytime at 509-888-0038 or stop by our office at 1111 North Mission Street.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Thanks for tuning in on this Saturday morning in August. We're having fun. I'm with my man Seth Stevens, the Renaissance one and only Renaissance Man at Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. How you doing, Seth?
Good. How are you, Russ?
Good. I also have JP in our new office studio. Hey, JP. He's our producer. He's been with me since the beginning of time for this radio show, which is about 2.5 years and counting. I think we've done about 67 shows or some crazy thing. Wild. And we're about to start launching into a new realm. We're going to do a little video podcasting, maybe a little more long form where we have conversations next month. So Seth, you're going to have to come on and maybe help me launch the video podcast.
I'd be happy to.
People are a little concerned because they say I have a face for radio, so we're not sure how the video is going to work. Might hurt us all. That's all right. Life's about risks, right? No risk, no return. And my man, you just jumped into things, and I love the courage. You've made it through some adversity. Let's talk a little bit about KWCares. I know it's a sensitive topic. It's 90 days yesterday my dad died, or was it last month? He passed away April 24th. So I know how hard it was for you. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what KWCares did for you? And by the way, this is a program that's in the world. We are in about 55 countries with Keller Williams as a franchise system. By far the largest producing real estate company on the planet, voted the best technology, the best training on the planet, and about 170,000 or so agents that all contribute voluntarily on each transaction. Our office, some people do much more than this, but we ask a minimum of $10 per transaction. So you can imagine if 170,000 people are putting a little bit of money into a program that can help people when they need it most in the Keller Williams family, it makes a big difference. Can you explain firsthand testimonial what it did for you when your mom passed away?
Yeah, it was a gift, and it was something that I would have never expected I would have been able to do, when I was 19 years old and help out my family just from where I worked. But what KWCares did is after my mom passed away, Kelly and you and Taylor all got together and submitted the application for an emergency grant to help pay for funeral expenses for my mother. Any KW agent can get the funds so long as it's an immediate family member. They just have to fill out the application, and if it gets approved, then you can get up to $5,000, I believe, for funeral costs. And a few short days after my mom passed away, less than a week, it was like 4 or 5 days. It was the first day I remember actually I went back to school. So my mom passed away on a Wednesday. I was back in school on Monday. And I was sitting in my class, and Kelly said, "Hey, I think everything's gonna be good. Would you mind sending over your bank statements, because they are asking questions because they're wondering why the money's going into a college student's checking account." Right. And sent over all of that, clarified it, and a few minutes later, there was $5,000 directly wired into my account, and it was the look on my dad's face to be able to help my family however I could and take off some of that burden in a time when people shouldn't necessarily be thinking about money or what it's gonna cost to honor your loved ones or anything like that, and it was extremely beneficial, and I'm forever grateful to KW for doing that for me. Yeah,
well, it's an amazing company, and your resilience through that has been very powerful. The cool thing, it took us longer to figure out how the application, because it was the first one we did. Uh-huh. When I hit enter, I think actually Kelly might have hit enter. We submitted everything. That money was wired within 2 hours of them receiving the application. Yeah. I don't think in today's world of bureaucracy and red tape that's something that very many companies that are on a global scale can say they're good at. No. And that's the thing about Keller Williams, which, I've been in real estate a long time. I sold my Lake Shoreline Properties company to another firm, a franchise. So I had signed a non-compete, and for about 3 years in the recession, I worked somewhere else. And I thought, okay, well, this is my first experience with a franchise system. And I was like, okay, well, it's cool, it's fine. To me, it was, in my own personal experience, it was basically, if you had good people, you did well. If you had bad people, you didn't. It was the same as Lake Shoreline Properties, an independent. Yeah. When I got educated about Keller Williams, and KWCares is one example of thousands. But the education, the training, the communication, the way they work from the national level in Austin, Texas, where our headquarters is, to the region and the regional director, to me as an operating partner, to you as a broker with me, unbelievable amount of information that's streamed to us. One of the things that I want to teach other people, and that's my goal. And maybe you could attest to this, because I think sometimes people don't believe me. But I'll be straight up with you. I mean, you've been very open about your mom with me and just now. It's not easy to talk about that stuff. My dad, when he passed away April 24th of 2020, he was not a very wealthy guy. He was not, he didn't have a lot of stuff, a lot of materialistic things. But with that being said, he was the richest man I knew. And the reason he was the richest man I knew is he was the most selfless individual that I had ever met. He's the kind of guy, Seth, if you were coming back from Bellingham in the middle of winter, you could call him and say, hey, I met your son, or I'm a friend of your son, or you don't even have to say that to him. You call him and he'd drive his Ford 1977 Ford pickup and help you change a tire. I mean, he wouldn't even ask you who you are, probably. That's the kind of guy he was. And so to me, my objective, my goal is to try and fill those impossible shoes of being selfless and being giving. And I like to think that 30 years of getting my butt handed to me, and I mean, I've been a pretty wealthy guy, and I've been broke more than once. So my goal is to hand down this experience in a way that, not that I know anything, because all mastery does, I say this quite often, the 10,000 hour rule, when like a black belt in karate, to master something, it takes at least 10,000 hours.
That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours. I don't know how many hours I have, but it's like 32 years times 7 times 24. I mean, it seems like a lot, but all I know what mastery means to me is that I don't know very much.
Yeah.
So when you finally get to that point in life where you kind of lose your youthful exuberance and arrogance that I had anyway, as a cocky kid, you're not that way. I was that way. You're much more mature and much smarter than I was at 19. I kind of had to learn the hard way, the school of hard knocks, as they say. Well, I just want to share those lessons. Would you say that I do that? Would you say I'm available?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I remember the very first day that I actually met you, and it was me and Crystal, and we came into the office, and right next to us, and it was under construction, and there was nothing on the wall, the ceilings. The ceiling was empty. There was stuff all over the floors, no carpeting in, and just kind of we walked around, and you were going over the vision, and like, this is what's going to go here, this is what's going to go here, and it was instantly kind of this energy that I was like, I want to be a part of that. I was like, where do I sign? Like, what? I don't even need to think about it. Pull out the paperwork. I'll figure it out. And to this day, that's always continued. We sat there and we talked for an hour about real estate and all this stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't even started the courses. I had just had a couple coffee meetings, and to this day, I still text you and I ask you for advice, and I'm like, hey, where do I go from this? Or how do I get out of this situation? Or, how do I deal with squatters? Or, how do I help my clients in the best way that I possibly can here? Because I'm at a crossroads. And I think it's important, that you kind of touched on it, is that you really don't know anything. And, not you in general, not you specifically, but just in general, right? And you're continuously learning, and I feel like it's completely ignorant, and it's unfair for your clients, and it's unfair for yourself and whatnot, to just assume that, you know the best, and,
well, I can
two
guarantee
minds are better than one.
Yeah, I can guarantee it. We're almost always smarter as a collective group than we are as an individual.
For sure.
If you're open-minded and you're a listener. There's an old saying that says you can dominate a conversation when you're talking. You can control a conversation when you're asking questions. Mm-hmm. I'm not very good at that. I kind of talk a lot, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm always a work in progress.
I do a little bit of both.
Yeah. And, the one thing about this, it's not a top-down management company. The traditional offices have typically an owner, or designated broker. It's kind of their ship, their show, my way or the highway. That's quite the opposite here. We are not a top-down management company. Mm-hmm. I am one of the group. In fact, I would go so far, and Keller Williams actually teaches this, that this company at Keller Williams is for brokers by brokers. Mm-hmm. We're a profit-sharing company at 49%. You know what that means? We bonus people on our profit. So people that help us make money, we give them up to 49% of that each month. what's the average profit sharing somewhere else?
Oh, I don't know, maybe zero.
Like zero. Yeah, it's a higher number or lower number.
Yeah.
The other thing to remember, like what you're great at, is demonstrating that you can have one of two things. You can have fear, or you can have faith.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're sitting there at 18 years old and you don't know real estate business from the cosmetic business practically, I mean, because it's so crazy as an industry, yet all you knew is you liked the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you did is you took action. And remember when I said goals without action are just dreams?
Yeah.
How many people do you know at 19 years old that have a lot of dreams?
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking action, my friend. You own your own real estate team. So I commend you. I learned from you equally, as I hope you learned from me and everybody in our management team, because we do this collectively. And we also have that board of directors called the Agent Leadership Council that kind of tells us what to do. Anyway, when we come back for our third segment, we're going to talk some more with Seth Stevens with the Stevens Home Group. The Renaissance Man is in studio.
Home sweet home. Thanks, Keller Williams. I love my dream home.
Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner with Keller Williams Realty and the host of this show, Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. I want to take just a minute to say a heartfelt thank you for your support and tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. I'm very proud to share that we are celebrating our 50th radio show this month and launching into our third consecutive year of this show, all thanks to you. I also want to thank all the amazing people that were kind enough to come on the show and share their stories, thoughts, fears, wisdom, and experiences with all of us over the last 2 years, including my co-hosts and friends, Sharon Crockett and Michael Maher with Prime Lending. I personally have made some amazing friendships as a direct result of this radio show, and I couldn't be more grateful. As always, throw the phone in the drawer, be present, spend some time with your friends and loved ones, and make it a fantastic Saturday. Thanks again for your amazing support of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, thanks for tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning. I wanted to share the fact that we've been in business now about a year and a half. We have over 50 real estate agents, and there's a reason for that. Mainly, it's relationship and culture. You know, sometimes people definitely look at the money and the commissions and the splits, but at the end of the day, it's about relationships, trust, that familial connection that you have at Keller Williams. That's what we strive to do, and that's how we look at our clients. We now have offices in Brewster, Chelan, and Wenatchee. We have agents in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee and Cashmere and Leavenworth, Chelan, Brewster. Really having a good time. So if you're interested in learning about why is Keller Williams Realty growing as fast as we've grown and have as many agents that are focused on their clients as we do, give us a call at 509-888-0038 or just stop by and see us at 1111 North Mission Street right here in Wenatchee.
You're tuned to Russ McClellan and Friends on the real estate show Home Sweet Home. Let's get back to Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. That's me and Friends. And today, for a whole since we've been open, my original gangster Renaissance man, Seth Stevens, who has a team, is in the house with me. And when I say house, it's pretty much like my house. It's our new office. And I say new office because you know what we did? We decided to go from a larger office, about 5,000 square feet, which I used kind of a metaphor of that would be like a 1994 Cadillac getting about 8 miles to the gallon. In other words, inefficient. And we decided to cut that square footage in half, save about, X dollars, which is a lot. And as a profit sharing company, my brokers were like, yeah, I like that. Let's save money so we can put money in a more efficient way. And what we did is we actually have a better setup with more offices that are now communal in our new location. So that's all started just July 1st. And during this process of the COVID virus, it's given us opportunity to reflect and become even more efficient. Because I believe this, Seth, if you don't adapt, and if you think you're going to always get what you've always, what's that saying? You can't always do what you've always done and get what you've always gotten in the post-COVID land.
Yep.
Easy for me to say, right? The point is, you have to adapt.
Yeah.
And we're adapting. We're actually doing things now at a higher level where it's an a la carte menu where if you want us to do your listing input, we're going to be able to do it. You want us to do a transaction coordinating, Seth, we're going to do it. You want us to hire the professional photographer, we're going to do it. We're generating 400 plus leads a month for buyers. 400 leads a month. So if you're a seller out there and you're thinking about getting the highest dollar, call Seth Stevens in the Stevens Home Group, because he's got the ability, if he chooses to plug into those leads. What that means, if he needs it, we're there for him. But you don't pay for it if you don't need it. So if you're a real estate broker out there and you're paying 50%, 60% in perpetuity, take a big deep breath, step back and make more money with us. Let's get together and have some fun. And if whatever you need, my goal is this, Steph. I want you to tell the listeners if I'm BSing or not. Again, I'll edit it out if you give me the wrong answer.
Okay.
That's just a rule here. No, I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, if someone is doing something, and I'm sure they are, at a higher level than Keller Williams, I'm focused on it with a committee, a team. I want to know exactly why they're beating us, and then we're going to put resources and intention and focus on that until we master it. That's my commitment to you guys as a brokerage, as the operating partner and the designated broker of this firm. And what's cool is we're in alignment. And when I say in alignment, you made a comment to me about how you walk in and how you feel about Keller Williams. Could you explain what you meant by that since the whole time you've been here?
There's never been a day where I feel like I've came in and I have like a boss or I guess what would be a designated broker or, you know, I've never felt like I wasn't on the same page or like the same level as anybody, you know, day one of getting my license or even when I was in the office before I got my license during the trainings and classes that you guys offer to the agents. And I haven't heard the same thing about other places, you know, like you mentioned, you know, a lot of places will take this top-down approach, and here it's more of a family-centered approach, and we're all here trying to actually help each other, you know, grow our businesses and help as many people as we can get into their dream home or get out of sticky situations or, you know, advise a family on an estate after a loved one passes away. We're the trusted real estate advisors, and since day one I've always felt like that's what I've been when I've been with Keller Williams, because, you know, we're all here to lift each other up and not tear each other down.
Yeah, well, that's the idea, right? I mean, it's a cliche, but it is kind of true. You try to enable everybody to be successful because, again, that an abundant mindset versus a scarcity mindset, to me, simply means this. If you have an abundant mindset, for me to win, that means you don't have to lose. Or for you to win doesn't mean I have to lose. Although we're in competition with each other, we all are self-employed essentially. But we high-five each other and celebrate the successes. We don't just sit there in the bleacher seats and play armchair quarterback. And man, you see it so much on social media right now and so much in life where everybody they must be perfect because they're so good at critiquing other people and they know nothing about what's really going on. I mean, we make all these assumptions and we just want to come in and hammer. I'm just not into it, man. If you're into talking crap about other people and pulling other people down and to make yourself feel better, to me, that's a bully mentality. You know, the one thing that's funny about my dad, you know, speaking of our parents, you know, and I look at the lessons that I've learned and boy, I don't know what's happened to you, but they're coming up all the time. The things that he's told me.
It gets worse.
Yeah, it's wild, dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things that's funny, when I was in elementary school, I was a little guy, right? Like, I think I was 155 soaking wet when I was a senior in high school. And, I'd get in little scuffles in elementary school in the playground, and my dad would come up in his cowboy boots, cowboy hat, probably drove a tractor to school because we had an orchard there in Manson, and that
or
I
a
was
horse.
raised on. Yeah, a horse, probably rode a horse to school. Yeah, back in the good old days. And he'd ask the principal if I was in the principal's office because I got in a little altercation or something, little boxing match or something. He'd be like, "What happened?" "Well, your son popped this kid in the nose." "Why?" Well, he hit him first." "Okay, why?" "Well, he was picking on somebody." He looked at me, "Son, did you defend somebody and you popped that bully in the nose?" And then my dad would look at the principal and go, "What's the problem here?" principal. Back in the day, they were all knew each other in small town America. Like, okay, get out. Try not to do it anymore, Russ.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the whole idea of bullies is I just don't like it. And even the cyber bully stuff that you see, it's just unfortunate. And, the good news is that if you're humble, and you are, and yet you're intense, because you can be aggressive and creative, and those aren't bad words, and you can do that with a humility that a lot of times we don't see. But you're doing that in your own team now. You're growing your team. In fact, you just hired another broker, Riggs Mischke, and I'm excited to see how you now mentor more people as you mature and grow. I say mature because you're 19, but you've matured a lot. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have a little bit.
I doubt people would ever know you're 19 if you just it's just amazing to me, because I remember when I was 19, holy man, you're so much further than I was. It's really cool to watch. So are you excited about Riggs and what he can do?
Yeah, Riggs and I have been friends for quite some time now, and he's seen how my life has progressed since I became a real estate agent, and how many opportunities it's just unlocked for me in so many different ways, not even just in real estate, and he's 20 years old. He's actually my roommate, and
he's an old man.
He is, yeah. He's pursuing the same degree as me, and he's been working hard to get his license, and he's super excited and eager to be ready to help people sell or buy their home, or just be a real estate advisor for him. And I'm excited to work with him at Steven's Home Group, and two 20-year-olds. That's a good combination, I think, in the world of real estate.
It's a great combination. I mean, think about this. I got introduced to computers in I was younger, but really, I think I had an Apple IIe, right? Like a 5 1/4-inch floppy disk. I mean,
that thing was sweet, Russ.
Yeah, it was probably worth some serious money now if I'd have kept it. But my point is that we weren't. I'm at that age where the fax machine wasn't invented when I got in real estate, frankly. And look at you and look at the world of technology. So the age thing doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. It really means nothing. If anything, sometimes being older makes it much harder, because learning new software or learning a new web-based program, which is everywhere, on almost every, even Zoom. Like, Taylor, our CEO, and Luke Groen, who's a younger guy too, my partner, they laugh at me because half the time I can't figure out how to get on. I can't figure out how to get off. And they're just like, dude, how many times we got to tell you how to do this? It's like tying your shoes. and I'm pulling my hair out. And if you ever see me, that's hard to do. Yeah. Right. And you're just a natural, right? So sometimes that learning curve is actually much harder for people that are older. And and it's offset by experience. That's the thing. It's pluses and minuses, and that goes, that kind of bodes well to our point. Like, we combine strengths. Mm-hmm. So if you need something from me, you can ask me, or Taylor, or Kelly, our Market Center administrator, who's also an investor. Or if I need something to you, like, hey, Seth, how do I get on Zoom, man?
I'll help you get on Zoom, Russ.
Yeah, right? Like, it's kind of, you think it's just like, what a dork. But I love that. I love that about the real estate business, that you can look at it as your own business. Mm-hmm. The barrier to entry is pretty low, but let's face it. How much do you actually know about selling real estate when you pass the test?
Not a single thing. No, I mean, genuinely, the test is just kind of an obstacle to get you to the license to be able to actually do it. But in all reality, you can breeze through the course, if we're being completely honest, and that's when the real training starts. And I think that it's interesting how you pointed out that it's easier to kind of learn technology stuff when you're younger, but I think it kind of applies to a lot of different things, because younger people, if you're going into a new field, you're just a sponge and you have no idea what you're doing, so you're constantly looking for how to do things, or new ways to, beat out your competition who's closing 5 deals a month, and they've been doing it for, the last 15 years. Yeah. And it's getting creative with it.
Yeah, for sure. Breaking bad habits is an issue, right? If you have them, and the world changes. So if you think you can do everything the same, you're going to be sadly out of a job. Yeah. So, hey man, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. As always, your point's well taken that at the end of the day, a guy told me once when he got into real estate and he was brand new, he says, I was dumb enough to do what they told me and I was smart enough to keep doing it.
It's a good motto.
Right? At Keller Williams, we're always embracing, and that's the cool thing about that company. They're an innovation technology company that happens to sell real estate. Yeah. Hey, thanks again, pal. You're going to continue to do well. We'll see you on the video podcast, hopefully maybe as soon as next month. And hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Russ. It was
Love
always
you.
a good time.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too.
All right. Well, we'll be back for the last segment with Prime Lending and my man Michael Maher. Thanks for tuning in this Saturday morning in August. Back in a few minutes.
Home sweet home. Thanks, Keller Williams. I love my dream home.
Hi, this is Russ McClellan, designated broker at Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking of selling your home, why hire us? We have a few simple goals. First, our job is to make you more money in less time by exposing your property to more people than anyone in the business. Second, we will simplify the process. Your Keller Williams expert advisor will identify simple solutions in a real estate world that can sometimes get a tad complex. Third, we will save you time. We will handle the entire process necessary to achieve your real estate goal so you don't have to. We work for you. Finally, we keep you out of trouble. Let's face it, we live in a litigious society and real estate is a big ticket item. Truly knowing how to do the right things in the right order is very important. Hey, call us today and let's talk about how we can achieve these goals for you. 509-888-0038 or simply stop by our office located directly across the street from McDonald's at 1111 North Mission Street. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, thanks for tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning. I wanted to share the fact that we've been in business now about a year and a half. We have over 50 real estate agents, and there's a reason for that. Mainly, it's relationship and culture. Sometimes people definitely look at the money and the commissions and the splits. But at the end of the day, it's about relationships, trust, that familial connection that you have at Keller Williams. That's what we strive to do, and that's how we look at our clients. We now have offices in Brewster, Chelan, and Wenatchee. We have agents in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee and Cashmere and Leavenworth, Chelan, Brewster. Really having a good time. So if you're interested in learning about why is Keller Williams Realty growing as fast as we've grown and have as many agents that are focused on their clients as we do, give us a call at 509-888-0038 or just stop by and see us at 1111 North Mission Street right here in Wenatchee.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home and Russ McClellan and Friends. Every show on the fourth segment, we talk about lending with Michael Maher and Prime Lending. And I got Michael calling in. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Appreciate it, as always. We're going to get into some good stuff today. And one of the things I wanted to start out by is talking a little bit about, from your perspective as a lender, what should people that are in the forbearance program, and for people that maybe don't know what that is, it probably doesn't apply, but there's a lot of people that have been told that they don't have to make their mortgage payments while under this situation with the virus and the pandemic. But we have some concerns about that, or at least some things that should be talked about so maybe they don't get hurt. Is there some points that you would like to make to the listeners out there that maybe are listening and have a forbearance or they're in the middle of a forbearance right now with their current mortgage payments?
Yes, definitely. So kind of the first step is to reach out to your mortgage servicer. And honestly, most of them now, as soon as you call into their 1-800 number or their service department number, it almost instantly says, if you're having trouble due to the pandemic, please press a certain button and it redirects you to one of their departments that is specializing in those particular requests. So that's the first step that I would encourage anyone to make. And then they can really walk you through the guidelines of what they're allowing their clients to do during this time. And some of the questions that I might have people ask would be, how long is my forbearance good for? Meaning, how many payments am I allowed to be not forgiven, but basically pushed out and basically tacked onto the end of the loan? And we'll get into that a little bit later. How many months am I free from making that payment? And then when I'm done with my forbearance, and hopefully I'm still employed and such, what happens at that point? Do I need to make a lump sum payment with all of my missed payments, or is it get tacked on to the end of the loan, and does my payment go up a little bit to offset the difference? Or does it just add on an extra, if it's 3 to 6 months, does it just add on an extra 3 to 6 months payments at the end of that? And then also another good question to ask would be, how does this affect my credit? Am I able to apply for different credit? What do you guys report exactly to the 3 credit bureaus to know how that might affect as well? But if you're in forbearance, I would encourage you to probably not go and take out new credit if you can, because in my experience, when I do run credit, I can see that a loan is in forbearance, and at that point, it kind of opens up a different set of guidelines that we have to go off of.
Yeah, I think those are great points about people that are in forbearance programs currently. A couple things I'd like to mention, I know we've talked about it in the past, is one of those solutions to people, if they find out after they call and they realize that they're going to have 3 to 6 months worth of payments due in 1 month at the end of this forbearance. That's an unrealistic expectation for 90% of the people. So I would encourage them to refinance. I mean, what are rates now? 2.8% on a 30-year fix, Michael? Something crazy?
Yeah, typically. And if it's cash out, you can be low 3s and such. So, I mean, if that's the case and you need to take advantage of it, now is the time in all of history to take advantage of it. It's basically free money after you account for, if you itemize your taxes and such, and obviously consult with a professional accountant, but it's basically free money at this point.
Yeah, so if you're going to find yourself, you got to be strategic and you have to be proactive so you don't find yourself in foreclosure. And that, once that happens, let's say the forbearance lightens up, and we're not saying these are all these forbearance programs are the same, because they're not. The mortgage industry was told that this is something they needed to do. Everybody applied their own policies and procedures and structure to those forbearance programs, and quite often they're going to get, they're not always in the favor of the borrower. They're quite often in favor of the lender. Now the lender may change the rules again, even though it's not something that they have to do. They might, but maybe they won't. And so if you're thinking about if you look at your interest rate and I don't even know, maybe even just 6 months ago, you probably can refinance that, buy yourself an extra month without a payment, and then save yourself a potential foreclosure. Because if you wait and you go into foreclosure, you might not be able to refinance. So yeah, that's a good thing that they could maybe give you a call. And while we're thinking about it, Michael, what's the best number to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so the best number at this point is 425-760-8824. I have a 509 number also. That's an office number, but the cell phone I've had for a long time is typically the best to get a hold of me.
And that was 425
760
8824. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh, 8824. That's okay.
8824. So Michael Maher with Prime Lending, 425 760 8820.
8824.
8824. What do we got? We got the COVID, man. I'm not sure what's going on. I had the COVID-18. I was a precursor.
Before.
Yeah, I got to go get that tested. If something's going to hit, you just do it well, right? Do it before everybody else.
Nope, exactly.
So here's the other thing to think about. Sell your house. You might just be really surprised how much equity you have, and then go borrow money at 2.8% on that dream home of yours. Some people are downsizing. Some people are upsizing. Some people want to shop. Some people want this. Some people want that. But there's never probably been a better time to borrow money, and there's probably never been a better time to sell your house. Here's the reality. And I know this isn't going to be a good thing across the board because we're not ready for it. But I was doing some calculations, and even if my conservative estimates are correct, when you think about how many people have been told across so many industries that they can make the same amount of money they used to make, and they had to live in Seattle, and now they can live anywhere they want as long as they have an internet connection and work from home. So I've been in Chelan for 30 years selling real estate. And the vast majority of our buyers in the last couple decades have been from the west side of the Cascades. but they've been second home investors, second home buyers, and or retirees for the most part. We just unlocked the primary residence buyer from Seattle that can now make the same amount of money in their life that they had to live in Seattle to make. Now they can live in Wenatchee or Cashmere or Leavenworth or Chelan, and they're coming over here with bucketfuls of money. Not only money in W-2 form, because they're making a much, much higher wage relative to our local industry, or local economy, but they also are probably selling an asset if they're going to buy a primary residence, and that asset has gone up in value considerably. So they're walking over with $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, and frankly, that's going to create an economic disparity between us and them, meaning us, meaning the people that work and live in this area that are not in those fields that are, typically based in Seattle. So what that really means is there's an invasion, and I say that in a polite term, but there's an invasion of buyers from the west side to the east side, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. And that's just America. So what we have to do is get prepared for this. One way you can get prepared for it is if you sell now, you might be able to still get in on something that's more affordable, because if this continues, which I have a feeling it might be a permanent reality for us, the numbers are astronomical. If you think about millions and millions of people that live in the rain on the west side of the mountains, not raining every day, but you know what I mean. It's not nearly as nice as weather climate as we have, plus the lifestyle that we have, the rivers, the lakes, the mountains, less crime, less homelessness, less taxation. There's just a lot of reasons why people want to live where we live. We get it. So my point is, this is a weird time in history. You can be a seller, take that equity, avoid a foreclosure potentially, and then go borrow money at historically low rates, which will help soften the burden of you paying maybe a little more than you would have a year or two ago. But if you wait a year from now, Michael, maybe after the election in November, nobody really knows what's going to happen, but I doubt rates are going lower.
No, in the beginning of 2019, we saw rates hitting in the fives.
Yeah, so beginning of 19.
As the economy continued. Yeah, beginning of 19. So, and then all of a sudden we're talking twos. So, and that happened over the course of 6 months. Yeah, or a little bit less. So yeah. It can change on the flip of a dime, and all of a sudden, that borrowing power that you had starts to dwindle pretty fast.
Yeah, sometimes when you can get a 1%, like if rates were 5% in 2019 and now they're under 3%. My advice to people is don't argue over $5,000. You have the luxury of the cost of money being half of what it was a year ago. Just pay it. Just get in, because I would hate for you to. I'm very concerned for people that want to argue over the principle of $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 when they figure that the cost of money is half as expensive as it was. They sometimes miss that. And then they find themselves 6 months or a year from now, the appreciation rate, I believe, is going to go crazy. Already is, because we have way more buyers now than we have sellers by far. And the rates could jump back up to 5%. So you're going to get double hit. Time will tell, right, man?
Yep, exactly.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the segment. Is there anything you want to leave them with? Just, you're always available to do, counseling about their position, right?
Yeah, 100%. Always available at 425-760-8824. Give me a call if you have a question about refinancing, enhancement loans, regular loans. We do all sorts of creative things. So.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in. Be safe. Look forward to seeing you again soon on our Zoom calls. Everybody, be safe out there. Be smart. Live your life, though, right? Just be smart doing it. And as always, every once in a while, throw that phone in the drawer. Get outside. Be aggressive. Be creative. Have fun with your friends and family. Don't let this get you down, and maybe take a break from judgment of other people just a little bit on social media. Have a great Saturday. Thanks for tuning in to the Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends show. We'll see you next Saturday.
I have a new home, home sweet home. Thanks, Keller Williams. I love my dream home.
The preceding program is sponsored in part by Keller Williams, Prime Lending, and Frontline Real Estate.
More complete coverage, more breaking stories. Here, News Radio 560 KPQ1S.